The story of Dead Bart is a long and confusing one. To summarize, Dead Bart was a production by Matt Groening, one of the first episodes in the Simpsons series. Today, not much footage from Dead Bart exists, since most copies have been destroyed, including those made by the studio. The production has been considered as a mistake, and those who have seen the episode or worked on it have said the creation of it should never have happened. Fox labels all of the episodes according to a smart and effective system, but the creation of Dead Bart has caused a lot of inconsistency in the amount of episodes reported. The original production label given that the episode was 7G06, but searching for that brings up another episode titled Moaning Lisa. People have believed this was to hide the fact that Dead Bart was never created. Many people know the plot of the story quite well, having to read about it in endless creepypasta, but not many know about the origin of the production. During the early part of 1989, Matt Groening was experiencing quite a few health problems. He had been experiencing serious delusion and had visions of his death from time to time. Many of them were eerie and vomit-inducing. He was under a lot of pressure to produce quality content for Fox, who were forcing him to work right in to get the orders done for season of The Simpsons, finalized and ready for broadcast. Having made several mistakes in his life so far, he decided to make one more. That mistake was Dead Bart. He wrote the episode in hopes that it would allow him to sleep easily, like many people write their own feelings down on paper. Matt felt that doing the same would take his mind off of things, except instead of just writing them down, he put them in a storyline and made his characters play out the scenario. The episode starts off with 4 characters: Bart, Homer, Lisa, and Marge. Maggie hadn't made an appearance in the episode. As for the overall Simpsons, was a lot different from when it started writing Dead Bart. This includes Maggie being absent. There are several fan theories regarding the continuity as to when or how Maggie was born. The Simpsons show was originally going to make its stylish use of death and the ramifications of someone dear dying. The characters had strong feelings. Due to the effects of death in them on earlier years, Bart had more hatred for his elders. Marge was quite subsequent to depression, and Lisa was more anxious, and Homer was a lot angrier. This concept wasn't scrapped completely in newer episodes of The Simpsons, though. Homer still has a strong sense of anger, as a reminiscent of him strangling Bart all the time. One of them is related to the character's feelings, Homer being angry and Marge being depressed, as many drive him away from the reproduction. Plus, Marge's depression may have caused previous experiences. Maybe she had an abortion? The episode Matt had wrote was supposedly be an actual production, though. It was simply a log of his feelings turned into a script. But somewhere along the line, one of the head animators picked up Matt's work and took the episode seriously, animated the thing, and had voice tracks produced to go along with the voice actors becoming suspicious as to why they had been asked to read in such diluted lines. But they never been brought up with Matt, as they didn't want to mess with an individual who was in a state, or somebody more authority than them for that matter. The production eventually came to a rendering stage. Matt was brought into the conference room, where he had an animator and the final render on tape. Matt was dumbfounded as to why he was asked in, seeing that the screenshot was another episode for that week, and official production has not yet been announced. The tape started with the family described above, as Matt watched as he becomes pale and looked confused. The first scene eventually came to a close, and he was already on the verge of tears. I'm not going to summarize it here. If you need to, go look at the original creepypasta entitled Dead Bart. As time ran out and the credits were fading out, a black and white Fox logo appeared on the top of the screen as the production labeled 7G06 faded just below that, along with the words final scales copy. That was when the tape ended. After Matt had left and went home, the team didn't see him for another 2 days, and he finally turned up, completely ignored by everyone around him. After being asked about his absence at receptionists, he, quote, "We shall never talk about it again." Since then, the entire team uttered not one word about that day. The tape was thrown out, not burnt or destroyed, just thrown out. This allowed the eager fan to pick up the tape from the alley outside. He watched it several times as his 12-year-old son found the tape by accident. He attempted to set the tape alight, although not a successful destruction. This caused the footage to become shaky and filled with static, and an anonymous man recovered the videocassette and uploaded it to a web server under the name deadbart.completeandexploded.net PAW True 7G06, which opened and would bring up a blank page with the yellow download link. The page doesn't exist today, and Google failed to get a catch of it. Not many people can recollect memories as the page while it lasted, but some can, including Matt Groening himself. After many weeks of moping over the incident, Matt had received an email on his personal address containing the link, which was masked as thesimpsonsofficial.com. Seeing no harm and assuming it was one of the rebooted site, he went ahead and clicked on it, being the days of the 128 kbps internet, and the page slowly loaded, and then the Internet Explorer packed up under pressure. Matt decided to take a ladder on his PC at home. After finally getting to the site, he downloaded the file, just for you file, and then he loaded into the Flash player. To his dismay, the file downloaded was a RIP file of dead Bart. He closed down his own computer in an attempt to track down the old cassette to make it that it was not seen by anyone else, but never managed to find it. He could remember the entire website link though off by heart, but it was in shock. Eventually, a presentation came around, documenting the success of the first season. A Q&A was opened up to the crowd when the young lad asked about the missing episode. David Silverman and the man speaking at the time closed down the presentation hours before attending to the presentation to hand. Another lad who was researching on the episode at the time stalked Matt down at the end and asked about the episode. In his dumbfounded state, Matt wrote down on a piece of paper and handed it to the Inquirer, and he begged him never to speak about the episode again. That man was the original writer of the Dead Bart Creepypasta, although only one VCR of the episode was ever made by the studio. Some interns had stolen early footage of the forums from Betamax tapes, and they brought them home. You would think a major studio would keep their resources safe. Another man has documented his experience with the bootleg tape of Dead Bart. Legend has it that the start of the tape contained an air episode of The Simpsons, and he had watched it from start to finish, but never had realized that the tape also contained Dead Bart. While making coffee for himself, he heard a loud shouting from the room he had been in, something along with the lines of Homer shouting Bart's name out. When he arrived back in the room, he was able to witness Bart being pummeled from a plane, 50 feet up in the air, to be followed by a crunching sound of broken bones. That's when the VCR caught fire and the tape was intentionally ruined, except for the scene right at the end, showing Bart's dead body. We both know the tapes of Dead Bart are ruined, and the latter of people have assumed that Dead Bart was just a story, nothing but fancy words, written to amuse and scare, but it wasn't. The truth is that the episode produced, I saw it when I was 8, and I hadn't been in a good sleep night since. Now I spent my life researching the meaning and cause of Dead Bart. Whenever I hear the name being shouted or screaming from afar, I panic and my heart starts racing, and I see it, the dead, lifeless corpses, one of Bart, with his dead eyes staring right at me in disgust, and I look back at him, feeling mutual.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.